Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerd Doctors. Today we have a viewer request of our series Who Would Win of Catwoman versus Elektra. If you are new to this channel or to this series, we have two currently up, Batman versus Daredevil and Blue Beetle versus Venom. So diving right into Catwoman versus Elektra, we will be describing each of their strengths, weaknesses, and then who we think would win in a fight on some random rooftop of some random city that neither of them know of. So starting off, we're going to talk a bit about Catwoman and her strengths and weaknesses. Catwoman, or Selena Kyle, as many people know her, is a master cat burglar. Her go-to weapon is a leather whip, and she is in peak human condition. There's no way to train more unless you're superhuman at this point. She is in fantastic shape, and she has, even when they have been mind controlled, knocked out Barry Allen and Wally West. She is an expert acrobat from growing up on the streets and just traversing rooftops, getting up emergency ladders, and just easy traversal of the city. And she has advanced hand to hand combat. And she has even beaten Talia al Ghul in a duel before.
Which is not easy.
No, not easy. And that's very important because Talia al Ghul with the League of Shadows is DC's counterpart to the Hand. As stated earlier, she is an expert thief. She's had to steal to survive, and that has honed her skills of stealth, seduction, survival, and just being super adaptable to any situation that is thrown at her. As I said before, her go-to weapon is a whip. However, she does have experience in other weaponry such as firearms, swords, and stick fighting. And one important thing that's almost probably more recognizable than her whip is her claws, which goes along with her name of Catwoman. Those can tear your throat out. They've been used to carve out glass, to puncture
Disfigure some
metal.
villains.
They're no joke.
She specifically, depending on which iteration of the comics and things like that, but she's been known to utilize this against guys who are, kind of assholes towards women. You were going to get the shit scratched out of you with those things. She's going to make sure she leaves a mark. She's left a mark on Carmine Falcone, even Two-Face, but doesn't really show on Two-Face because, I do want to add, I know Griff touched on it, but I want to add on Catwoman's leathered whip. Leather whips, if the person who's using it is proficient in it, which is the case with Catwoman, those things will really fuck you up. They will tear the flesh right off of you. And she is very proficient with it. She can knock pistols out of your hands. She normally does it to stun or to, scare off her prey. But if need be, she could take that thing and she could take your damn head right off, or at least your arm or a couple fingers.
And just a little bit of a side note, she's also fluent in Mandarin, which I just think's pretty cool.
So Catwoman is a very physical opponent. She is someone that can go toe to toe with, I would fairly say that 80% of the dudes out there.
And so this moving on with Catwoman going to her weaknesses, she is human. She is not a metahuman or have any abnormal powers. She feels pain just like most other humans. Pretty standard human weaknesses.
Yeah, I'll add to that. She's never really like upgraded her cat suit. It really is just more so for stealth and for, you know, elasticity than anything else. It's not really meant to withstand firepower.
It has to be lightweight. She has to be able to move around and make quick movements and turn her body in ways that will either fit through windows or to dodge things. She's much more of a dodger than she is take a hit and hit back. And so, as Edward said, because of this, her suit is not very durable.
Also, I would think that as it is with most people's flaws, she allows her emotions to get the better of her, particularly when she cares for, someone or an animal, which, most iterations of the comics and movies and things have shown us that Selena Kyle has a soft spot for strays, for animals in general. So that is something that could be utilized against her. And now let's dive into Electra Nachos, which is funny enough, not a whole lot of people know about this character. It's becoming more mainstream now after the whole Daredevil Netflix show, but she is something to behold.
She was originally written as a filler character and was supposed to just be killed off and forgotten about, but to Frank Miller's surprise, she really took off and become a fan favorite character that has continued to have comics to this day.
Yeah, she is something deadly. She is fluent in, I think, over 7 languages. She is of Greek descent, and she is well skilled in many martial arts, anything from capoeira to taekwondo, kickboxing, karate, jeet kune do, ninjutsu. Just those alone are enough to make her just a very, very dangerous adversary.
She's even won trophies in Aikido, Kendo, and Karate.
Yeah, and for anybody out there who's been in any of those things, you know how hard it is to get one of those trophies. And her weapon of choice are sais, which, funny enough, a lot of people see them as like deadly stabbing weapons. They're actually a defensive weapon. So it's funny that someone who enjoys killing so much would choose that weapon. But she's also very proficient in every other ninja-styled weapon, swords, katanas, bow staffs. But this just
Throwing
happens to be her
stars.
weapon of choice. Throwing stars, yeah, which suck too, because those could either kill you or just, maim you for life. She's also very, very agile, and there's a little bit something wrong with her. She enjoys, cutting your throat. So that just adds to the level of difficulty of opposing someone like her. She's been up against all sorts of very powerful characters and has come out on top. She's gone toe to toe with Daredevil, the Defenders, just to name a few, and she's come out on top. She's taken on most of the Hand Clan, been resurrected, and since her resurrection, she's gained more knowledge and way more abilities.
Continuing off of that, she is in peak physical condition. She is an Olympic level athlete and gymnast. She has even won competitions in both swimming and track. She is being trained by the Hand, a master of stealth, and can remain undetected by most humans. She is an excellent acrobat and an expert marksman. And one unique thing she can do is she can control her nervous system, enabling her to dull pain and even slow the rate of her bleeding. She has memorized the different pressure points in a human body and knows how to fully utilize them. And she, as Edward said when she was resurrected, she gained a bit of a telekinetic boost. One of her oddest abilities is she's able to throw her mind into those of others to help track down her enemies and to discern their location.
That's crazy.
It is. She
That just
has
sounds crazy.
she has like very low form of hypnosis, high in awareness, and in the past has demonstrated telekinetic abilities, but it kind of has faded a little bit. And she's able to telepathically communicate with those who have a similar level of mental discipline, such as in the past the chaste. And she,
That's crazy.
again, to some levels, has a precognition and can see glimpses of the future.
That all sounds just insane, but it's all part of the comics. And it's a small disclaimer: we're not talking about the pansy ass version that Jennifer Gardner portrayed, because that version doesn't exist for me. We're talking about the comics and how well she was played by Elodie Young.
The comics are our primary source for any of these videos. For most other forms of media, we would typically say it's from this.
Yes, I do want to add though that in the show, for anybody that's watched it, that is what I just always envisioned her as being, just very seductive, but also very fucked up in the head. There's something very wrong there, and that's just how she is. She's someone I desperately would not want to fight. I would not want to be in that situation where I would have to even defend myself against someone that well trained and with that eagerness to slit my throat.
Diving into Elektra's weaknesses, as I stated before, she has this ability to numb pain, but just because the pain is numb does not mean that the injury has gone away. The injury is still very much present and will hinder her. And just because she does not feel the pain, she can forget that that injury is there and try to utilize the wounded area in a way that it should not be, causing her to make a mistake. She is prone to angry outbursts depending on who she is fighting. If it's someone that knows her, they have used her emotions to get the better of her.
She's a little nuts. You can't allow yourself, particularly in a fight, to, get emotional. And she does. She gets emotional all the time, as Griff said, particularly when she's attached to someone and they know her. You know, Daredevil uses it against her anytime they square off. And this is how he gets the upper hand. I don't know if he'd do so otherwise. It'd be interesting. Maybe a follow-up video. But because he's able to, get under her skin, it's why he's able to come out on top. So I think one of her strongest weaknesses is that she's way too headstrong, and she allows her anger to we've all seen Star Wars. We all know what anger does in a fight. So I think that more so than anything else is, yeah, there's a bit of insanity to her. And that is, that is a handicap.
And then speaking with that, with her resurrection and her telekinetic abilities, she is mentally linked to the demigod of the hand called the Beast, which when she does use her psychic abilities does tend to cause some backlash to some extent. And being mentally linked to a relentless demigod is also not good for the psyche.
Yeah, there you go. And just touching up on a little bit of what Griff said, pain's a good thing, guys, particularly when you're in a fight. It lets you know when you need to just take five. Numbing her pain and pushing through it, man, you could bleed to death and not know it. So that's not that is a very strong weakness.
Jumping into what you're all here for, who would win? Before we get into it, let us know in the comments who you think would win between Catwoman and Elektra. I think the key factor here is a bit of the location in that it's unknown to both of them, so it's more of a even playing field, so no one has more knowledge than someone else. But sadly, that does take away a little bit from Selina's advantage. If they were fighting in Gotham, I do think she would stand a little bit more of a chance. However, I think Selina is more trained to be a master thief and not necessarily an assassin. And while she is very proficient in hand-to-hand combat and being able to survive, I think just the relentlessness of Elektra, and if the fight becomes prolonged, Elektra's gonna come on top. She has a way more wide variety of weapon proficiencies, fighting styles, and anything that Catwoman does, she'll be able to adapt. But I think the only way that Catwoman will be able to win is if she gets a key early strike in that is going to leave lasting damage to Elektra, but that's extremely hard to do. And with Catwoman wielding a whip that is primarily a weapon that you keep people out of range with, I don't see her getting close, and especially with Elektra being very proficient in training against hand-to-hand ninjas with katanas, with sais, with bow staffs, being especially fluent in hand-to-hand. Catwoman getting close and landing that strike is very unlikely.
I'm going to disagree with Griffin a couple of things here. I don't think, in my experience, I don't think it matters too much where they are. Sure, maybe just slightly if they were in Gotham.
It is just slightly. I'm not saying it has a huge impact. I'm just saying it is one advantage that Selina did have, but I'm not saying it would make her win every single time. I'm saying instead of winning one time out of 10, she may win 2 times out of 10.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I could kind of see it. Also with the whip thing, which this kind of changes it up. I think if Catwoman was a killer. I think if that's where she went, like, I'm gonna be an assassin, and she trained more, she was as proficient as Elektra, and she was as willing to go to that extra mile. I think she could take Elektra's damn head off with that whip. That whip is dangerous.
Yeah, if she trained as to be an assassin, yeah, I definitely think she would be able to be a lot more of a match for Elektra.
Yeah, if she
I
was
think no
willing to,
question.
if she was willing to make that killing blow, instead of just using it as a defensive weapon, then yeah, I think that at the very least really hurt her. But she's not. She's going to use it as a defensive weapon. She's going to try to knock the size from her. Maybe if she got very, very lucky, I don't think it matters when in the fight she struck that blow, but if she got very, very lucky and it was one of those tremendously lucky hits that you even can't believe, and it stunned Electra long enough, then yeah. But other than that, I just don't see a scenario where they're evenly matched. Electra is she's a killer. She's a fucking predator, and Catwoman's just not. Electra pretty much on any scenario except for that one for me. Again, this is my opinion. It would have to be an extremely lucky blow, one of those fucking unbelievable ones, man. Other than that, it's just it's gonna be bad. She's gonna murder her. She's going to slit her throat, and it's gonna be bad. Maybe we can get a Elektra versus Batman after he sees what she does to Catwoman.
Yeah, even with both of them going with killing intent, I think it just really comes down to their training being the key decisive factor here, and just they're both suited for two different things. And when they clash, the one that's designed and suited for killing versus one who's trying to be defensive and merely get away, it's not going to end up well for Catwoman.
Yeah, because you could only defend yourself for so long. I mean, either you cut and run, or you stand there and tire out and let the other person just get a killing blow. And that's what Elektra's going to go for. Elektra's there for a killing blow. She's going to try and stab her, bleed her to death, or slit her throat. That's what she's going to do. And Catwoman's not willing to do that. Maybe by accident she would, maybe if she had no choice, but Elektra wouldn't let it get to that point. Elektra would 9 times out of 10 finish this one pretty quickly. So in my opinion, Elektra wins this one.
I agree. Let us know your thoughts in the comments who you think would win between Elektra and Catwoman, or if we're way off base. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our current videos, and we'll see you guys next time.
Before we go, a buddy of mine asked me real quick, who do I think would win? And let us know if you want to do a video on this. But he said, who would win, Vader or Yoda?